Hey guys, you can probably tell from my voice I'm still really sick, but I couldn't wait to hit this one, so just bear with me for this. I'll make this fast. I promised a long time ago that I'd try very hard to keep politics off this channel, but now I'm going to have to make an exception. I was sent this video by a fan on Discord, and I just can't believe this is real. I can't believe this is an actual show that Showtime is going to be supporting. I know it's February and Black History Month, but I thought that meant it was going to be a month to celebrate Black history, not to guilt trip white people. But that's apparently what Showtime wants to do with this new trailer for a new documentary series called It's Gonna Be All White. And y'all, videos like these are the reason that the dislike bar has been taken down. I wish I could see the dislike bar in this, because based on the comments this video got, no one likes this. I don't know anyone who would support this. But let's go. Let's see how far down this rabbit hole Alice is going. Well, we're off to a great start, aren't we? You're fully aware that this trailer is going to piss off people, but that really doesn't matter to you, does it? Can you imagine if another ethnic or racial group was put there instead? Warning, this trailer may trigger Hispanic people. Guess how fast that would get shot down. But I guess if it's okay if we're insulting white people.
I think what annoys me most about white people is when they pretend like they're the victim. What's also annoying is when they kill us.
Two things. First of all, that music you're playing is Ode to Joy by Beethoven. He's a white man. Stop appropriating my culture. Second of all, though, there is proof right there that you're not oppressed. We're not even 30 seconds in, and we already see proof that you're fabricating victimhood. When asked what annoys you most, your second issue is that we're supposedly killing black people. But your first issue is that we're claiming to be victimized. That's what gets you. I'm sorry, but didn't this trailer open with an announcement that you're going to be victimizing us? You're going to pin problems on us? You're going to demean us? Isn't that the definition of victimization? But there it is, folks. You care far more that we would take your victimhood away than you do that we oppress you. This isn't Jim Crow America, where there were legitimate issues where white people were physically abusing and killing people who were black. But I also love how cavalier you were when you said that. Just so nonchalant about it. If you can so nonchalantly bring up the genocide of your race, I doubt it really affects you all that much. Just saying.
What is fragile about whiteness when everything has been constructed around it?
I've never claimed that my race is fragile. Most white people don't claim it's fragile. We just claim that we're being called racist and bigots and the problems of this country constantly, and this documentary is proof positive of that. So thank you for proving our point.
Every part of who I am has been distorted or criminalized.
Oh, how awful. Taking an entire group of people and distorting their identity, criminalizing them just for being the way they are, and accusing them of evil simply for being white. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant Muslim. But you are aware that Islam is not a race, right? There are white Muslims. What would you say to them? Does their Muslim status take away their white status?
It's really just a bunch of white lies.
Well, the fat man made a funny.
What are those lies? I mean, you seem to believe you've cracked the code of whiteness and how we operate, so why don't you tell me what those lies are? I'm very curious.
We're storming the Capitol!
You're not patriots. You're ridiculous.
And you're not making a documentary. You're making hate propaganda. You do know that there were more than white people at the Capitol riots, right?
One of the definitions of American whiteness is ignorance.
Oh, so you're white then. Gosh, I wouldn't have been able to guess, because you sure are ignorant. And if you and my lovely audience are waiting for me to explain how I know she's ignorant or expand on that point at all, why should I? This trailer sure doesn't seem intent on explaining anything or expanding on any of its points, so if I say you're ignorant, you must be. Because she can say all white people are ignorant without any explanation.
White people, we are not your problem. You are.
Okay, we never claimed you are our problem. You are claiming that we are your problem. Dude, you gotta get your own propaganda right if you're gonna do this. But I do love the irony here. You accuse us of everything wrong in the world, but then act surprised when white people might not like you for it.
Should white people today feel any responsibility for slavery?
Hell yeah.
I did not own any slaves. I did not write any slavery laws. None of my family owned slaves. And if any of my ancestors did, I know nothing about it. Therefore, I will not take any responsibility for those sins. You need to be very careful about the sins of the father idea. By that logic, I will gladly hold you responsible for the transatlantic slave trade. Because guess who the big bad Europeans bought their black slaves from? Here's a hint. Their skin color wasn't white. Also, while we're on that note, why is it always the bad stuff that we have to take credit for? What about the white people who freed slaves and fought to free them in the Civil War? Do they not get a special mention? Don't we get a thank you for that? No, it's all about the bad things we did. Whatever.
White Jesus or black Jesus?
Jesus was not white. Think of geography. Ain't no way Jesus walked around with blonde hair and blue eyes.
I don't know what's funnier. The fact that you think that the majority of white Christians all around the world claim that he's white and white only, or the fact that none of the images of Jesus you showed show him with blonde hair or blue eyes, and yet you claim that we think he did. We are aware that Jesus was Jewish and he was from the Middle East. But since Christianity grew more rapidly and soundly in Europe and grew a root there, and because European artists had to base a lot of their designs off of what they had available, the resulting art had a more white look to it. After all, in China, when Jesus was first introduced over there, their depictions of Jesus were pretty Chinese. But guess what? Jesus wasn't Chinese, and he wasn't black either. So I don't know what the hell you're complaining about. What's the issue? I recall Jesus teaching us to love our neighbors as ourselves. And I sure don't feel the love, man. If you care more about how I draw Jesus than you do about what he told us to do, I think your priorities are off.
White culture fears the end of the world. For us as native people, the end of the world already happened like multiple times.
Question. How does the world end multiple times? I thought the world ending meant that it ended. Like, that's the period. That's the final note. That's the end of the novel. The world just ends. No more endings. No more do-overs. It's done. It's nothingness. We're gone. But you're saying it ended multiple times? I don't think you know what ending means. Unless you mean white people wiped out your people. And if that was true, you wouldn't be here to cry about it, would you? So clearly we didn't wipe you all out. And far more importantly than that, you are aware that native tribes have been destroying each other long before white people ever showed up in this nation, right?
You came out of the Minnesota woodlands armed to the teeth and set upon your fellow man. You massacred the Kiowa, the Omaha, the Ponca, the Oto, and the Pawnee without mercy. And yet you claim the Black Hills as a private preserve bequeathed to you by the Great Spirit.
And who gave us the guns and powder to kill our enemies? And who traded weapons to the Chippewa and others who drove us from our home?
Chief Sitting Bull, the proposition that you were a peaceable people before the appearance of the white man is the most fanciful legend of all. You were killing each other for hundreds of moons before the first white stepped foot on this continent. You conquered those tribes, lusting for their game and their lands, just as we have now conquered you for no less noble a cause.
This is your story of my people.
This is the truth, not legend.
Careful about yelling at me from your high horse, or else you might get altitude sickness.
Symbols and monuments, these are mementos of racism. Bring that statue down.
Okay, you want to tear down statues. Okay, sure. If they offend you that much, go right ahead. But don't laugh at us when we feel angry at a documentary intended to offend us when you are allowed to get butthurt over a carved rock. I should also point out that y'all have been vandalizing statues of Grant and Lincoln too. I figured you wouldn't want to vandalize those statues, but hey, what do I know? They're white people. I guess it's fair game. Doesn't matter what they actually did. It only matters what they look like. How equal and accepting you are. If you want to take down statues, just ask your state government to do it. I'm sure they would. Just don't be vandals. Don't break the law. It doesn't make you look good.
Put up a TCBY yogurt or something. Everybody can get behind.
The truth has to be told about history.
We have to make sure that these stories are told from our perspective.
I have no problem with that. Feel free to share your perspective. But the issue is that you don't want all perspectives involved. You'd want just your perspective. A part of learning history is you take all accounts and all perspectives and use them to form a wider picture. Don't silence and demean a side you don't like. Listen to all sides and form a better understanding.
there's always hope. You know what I'm saying? We don't give up.
It's about obliterating systemic and institutionalized racism.
I find it hard to believe you're trying to get rid of racism when the entire purpose of this video is to talk about how bad white people are. Racism is wrong, and it's all white people's fault. Do you not hear how stupid that sounds?
This is a wild place, y'all. It's a wild place. I know Harriet and Frederick be up there just like, what is they gonna do?
So you want to know what Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass would think of you? Well, as individuals who saw white people fight and die for them, and as people who actually did something with their lives to better their communities and to contribute to this country, yeah, I think they'd be very disappointed in you. You seem to be under the impression that your ancestors would be proud of you for how you're acting. But your ancestors didn't give their lives and their time so you could whine in front of a camera about how bad you have it when they all had it far worse than you did. Let me ask you a very serious question. Who is this made for? Who would want to watch this and actually like it? Well, that means we need to understand why it was made. Did you make this with the goal of bettering the community? No, because it's all built on criminalizing a group of people as an other. Okay. Did you make it to teach black history in a meaningful way? No, because it's about black victimhood, not accomplishment. Did you make it to help white people learn how to be better? No, because all you do is harass, not encourage change. Did you make this to help end racism? No, because you're literally trying to divide by race, not bring together. So at the end of the day, I can only come to one conclusion. Showtime is literally propagating racism. I mean, could you even imagine a documentary show like this, but about black people, Asian people, Hispanic people? Guys, this is horrendous. This is absolutely disgusting and unbelievably racist, and I can't believe Showtime would actually be proud of this. Showtime and everyone involved in this project should be ashamed. But guys, there is good news, don't worry. As of the recording of this video, the video that I've just responded to, has over 300,000 views and only a little over 300 likes. Guys, we don't need a dislike bar to know how people feel about this one. We already know. And if you need more proof, just take a peek at the comments section. I will leave the link to the video in the description. Go read the comments. You'll be quite surprised. Or maybe you won't. Maybe you're like me and you're smart enough to recognize that most people, black, white, Hispanic, and Asian, are really sick of this crap, which begs the question, why Showtime wanted to make it in the first place. And with that, guys, I'm going back to bed with my good friend NyQuil. See you guys later. Take care.